we've got our second Browns report of the day. There was just too much out there not to get another video, so producer Jeremy and I getting back in the lab, and we got a lot to talk about because Sue Robinson released her 16-page report with all of her findings, so I have some key takeaways from that to share with all of you watching. Plus, Kevin Stefanski and Jimmy and D. Haslam both talked to the media and released some statements, or at least one talked to the media, about the Deshaun Watson suspension news, so we'll look at that. Also, if you missed it, Amari Cooper pulled up at practice today, so we're going to check out some other training camp news, including that. But make sure you follow me on Twitter at MatthewPD. That link's in the comments and the description. I'm trying to grow my Twitter game and get to 1,000 Twitter followers. Handful of you guys followed me already today, but if you haven't already, please go ahead and do so. So let's jump into the Sue Robinson report. This is also just going to be great trivia in 5 years. Like, who was the judge for Deshaun Watson? All Browns fans are going to remember the name Sue Robinson. Also, maybe a popular baby name in Cleveland, or unpopular. I'm not so sure. But the NFL provided sufficient circumstantial evidence to prove their claims in her report. Which means, and we're going to look at that more in a little bit, but it means if the NFL wanted to appeal the suspension, they have to go off what Robinson said was facts or not facts. And she said it's a fact that they proved that they got past a preponderance of a doubt, or whatever the legal term is. Now, the NFL in her report said you can't just bank on public outcry. You can't just go, suspend him a while. Everyone's really pissed off on Twitter. No, that's not going to hold much weight for Sue Robinson. You got to have more to why you are pushing for an unprecedented suspension. And by unprecedented, it means you are suspending someone. This is what her report said. This was the longest suspension given out to someone for a nonviolent sexual assault or sexual misconduct allegations. Right? You've seen players like Calvin Ridley, which is a whole separate thing, get a longer suspension. But that's the difference between allegations and facts, right? This was the longest suspension for a nonviolent sexual misconduct allegation suit. That's what this was. And 6 games was more than anyone else has ever gotten before. Now, Robinson also stated that Deshaun Watson violated it in 3 different ways, the personal conduct policy. And I thought this clip right here, or this little snippet, was really important. She said, Mr. Watson's pattern of conduct is more egregious than any before reviewed by the NFL. So, Robinson's report and her fact findings does open up a path for the NFL to appeal, which they have until Thursday morning to make an appeal to Roger Goodell. So, that's something to keep an eye on for. That can change at any given moment if the NFL decides they're going to appeal it or if they're not going to appeal it. In their statement this morning, they said, we're going to review it. They're going to buy some time and they're going to think about it and sleep on it, which kind of caught me by surprise because were they not expecting 6 games, right? Did that catch them by surprise? And they're like, whoa, we now might want to review this because we thought it would be a higher number, but maybe they want more than 6 games. But let me know this. Do you agree with the 6-game suspension? I know a lot of you guys watching are going to be arguing for 0 games and lower than 6 games. But the way I look at this is if I told you back in March you get Deshaun Watson, but you don't have him for the first 6 weeks of the season, we all agree to that, right? I think that's something all football fans would be like, yep, Watson's a player is worth a 6-game suspension on your team for the long-term thing. Now, more Robinson takeaways from her report. She said the NFL cannot change the standards for nonviolent sexual assault without fair notice. What this means is the NFL can't just make up new precedents and new suspensions and new rules on nonviolent sexual assault allegations without telling the players ahead of time, this is how we're going to proceed with this, right? This is lawyer talk. This is judge talk. Precedent is like the P word to them. That's what Pornhub.com is to judges. It's precedent.com. And she didn't believe that the NFL can just shove something down the NFLPA's throat without fair notice to the players ahead of time. So that is probably my big takeaways from the report. It's 16 pages and documents long. I read it. I invite you all to read it too if you'd like. If you want more on that, it's on my Twitter at MatthewPD. But those are kind of my big key takeaways from there. Now, Kevin Stefanski spoke to the media after practice today and was Stefanski. right? He beat around the bush a little bit. He didn't offer a ton of insight on this. But there was one really interesting thing that Zach Jackson tweeted out that I wanted to share. Stefanski, there's a point in our practice plans that will shift gears, but right now we have a plan. And he's talking about the handoff from Deshaun Watson to Jacoby Brissett for the first team reps, because the Browns and Watson practiced today, and Deshaun Watson got a lion's share of the first team reps. And I think that's Kevin Stefanski going, it's August 1st. Week 1 is September 11th. We have well over a month to get Jacoby Brissett acclimated with the ones. We also want Deshaun Watson to kind of get back into football because he missed all of last year. Now, Stefanski was asked, of course, about the elephant in the room, and here's what he said. I feel incredible empathy for anyone who's impacted by this decision. It's something that I don't take lightly. I think Stefanski's always tried to play a little bit of Switzerland since this has happened. Now, the Haslams also had their official statement on Watson, which, like, the Haslams are just the Haslams. Does anyone really have high expectations for them just in general all that much? Personally, not really. But we're going to look at their official statement in just a second. But I want to reach 11,000 subscribers here on the channel by week 1, if not way sooner. We've got 703 subs to go. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you're looking for a reason to do so, how about this? Free daily Browns YouTube content out there when you click that sub button. Here was the Haslam statement. Throughout this process, Deshaun and his representatives have abided by the newly created and agreed upon process for the NFLPA and the NFL to defer to the objective Judge Sue L. Robinson to comprehensively review all information and make a fair decision. We respect Judge Robinson's decision and at the same time empathize and understand that there have been many individuals triggered throughout this process. My God. We know Deshaun is remorseful that this situation has caused much heartache to many, and we will continue the work needed to show he is on and off the field, and we will continue to support him. Basically, let's put a bunch of key, big, triggering words in there and make it make no sense, kind of, right? Like, what was that in English? I don't think anyone walked away going, oh, I understand what the Haslams wanted to get across in that release. Not really. What I did find interesting, by the way, is that they used the word remorseful. They said Deshaun Watson has been remorseful. Judge Robinson made it a point in her 16-page report today that says Deshaun Watson was not remorseful. So, like, very different polar ends right there. But, hey, that's the Haslams for you right there. All right, Amari Cooper. Maybe one of the reasons why you clicked on to today's show, because he went down today during practice with an ankle injury. He was being evaluated, never went inside or anything like that. Held out with the trainer, held his helmet in his hand. Never appeared to be all that serious. Just bubble wrap the guy, right? I mean, we know what Amari Cooper is. He is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Sure, you want a new player on a new team with a new quarterback to build a connection and chemistry before the season starts so that you don't go into the regular season and they're trying to get into a rhythm, but you also want him healthy for the regular season. So, no, I don't want to test this ankle injury whatsoever, especially when you look at the wide receiver room that has been decimated with injuries, right? Javon Wims has been sick since training camp started. David Bell, according to Mary Kay, might be dealing with a stretch fracture in his foot. Isaiah Weston, unfortunately, with an ACL injury, he was released, and that's the end of his time with the Browns as of now. And Anthony Schwartz, also with a knee injury that the Browns are pretty optimistic that he'll be back from soon after pictures of his knee came back negative from anything worse. But regardless, I want to know where your concern level is right now with the injuries that have happened in the wide receiver room. Scale it 1 to 10. I'm not at a 1 being you're not concerned, 10 being the panic button's out and you've smashed it, right? It's like deal or no deal, take the deal, Howie. But I'm probably at I'm at a 4.9. I'm not quite at 50%, but I want it to be known I'm very close to that. Now, Aaron Wilson tweeted this out. I'm surprised how he even found this, but Brown signed Derek Dillon, waived injured Isaiah Weston. So Derek Dillon's a wide receiver, went to LSU, was a UDFA signing for the Giants back in 2020. The last time he played real competitive football was with the USFL, where he was a 15th round pick. So he wasn't lighting the world on fire in the USFL standards even. But hey, I think this is Andrew Berry going, we need to have wide receivers in camp to be a camp body. And I don't want to just, rock the world and bring in a Will Fuller or T.Y. Hilton and have to pony up a decent contract probably. Even if it's vet minimum, that vet minimum for them is way different than for, I already forgot his name, Derek Dillon. Sorry, Dylan. But I think Barry is pretty optimistic. This tells me about where David Bell and Anthony Schwartz are in terms of getting back onto the field. I think he is pretty, in the know, of course, on, hey, how long are these guys going to be out for? Oh, not that long, Doc? All right, we don't need to go out and look for a serious replacement that could go into the regular season. We just need someone to catch footballs from Josh Rosen and Josh Dobbs during the third and fourth team offense and whatnot. I wanted to share this fun story with you guys, though, before we get on out of here. Cade York, he's awesome. He's really good at football. One thing, kicking that ball through the uprights. Another perfect day for him at Berea. 6 for 6 field goal performance, including a 51-yard long field goal. And they executed a fire drill where he ran on from the sideline and banged it right down the middle, 45-plus yarder. The guy's been money all camp long, and hopefully that continues into the season, into the cold winter months of Cleveland with that lakefront and whatnot, the wind coming off of Erie. Hopefully that will not be an issue for Cade York. So let's show the guy some love here. Hopefully he can be the next Phil Dawson, maybe even some more there, by putting his jersey number 3 down in the comment section below. Show the guy some love. And hey, if you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and make sure you do so. That way you never miss a breaking Browns news story. Say Deshaun Watson gets a suspension decision finally, and we can all go to sleep and know who the week 1 starting quarterback is. Plus, if you're looking for more places to get Browns content, it's over on my Twitter. Follow me at Matthew PD. That link's in the comments and the description. Jeremy Chuggs right now, our producer, he runs our Steelers channel. If you're bored, by the way, one day, go to the Steelers video. They torment me over there. We got to bring some ammunition back. F Jeremy Chuggs, F Jeremy in the comment section, because he unloaded a clip on me on the Steelers talk and the Ravens rundown here at Chat Sports. All right, we'll see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors coverage.